Hi, my name is Marc Dangeard. I'm the founder of Entrepreneur Commons. I'm very happy to be here with you today, if not in person, through this video. I'm here to talk about Entrepreneur Commons and how we can help Japan with the recovery effort. Entrepreneur Commons is a small chapter, peer support for entrepreneurs that meet on a regular basis to help each other. We have now 19 chapters around the world, and we are introducing a new funding mechanism into this ecosystem, which I think will bring a lot of value to you guys. But first, I'd like to start with my personal story of Entrepreneur Commons. I'm an advisor to entrepreneurs. I work with entrepreneurs one-on-one, and I help them with their business. A lot of entrepreneurs wanted to work with me, but could not afford my services. So I came up with an idea of how I could help these people, because I don't like to say no. So I started with these small chapters, one in San Francisco, one in Palo Alto, and then somebody in Oakland said, "Oh, I like what you're doing, and I'd like to do one too." So next thing I know, there's a chapter in Oakland, and then somebody from New York called me and said he wanted to do the same, and then somebody from Miami and Chicago and Athens and El Salvador, and next thing I know, there is 19 chapters I mentioned around the world in 17 different cities. And the reason why this is possible is actually because the technologies of cooperation that have been brought to us now allow us to do these type of things. And it's not anything new. It's something that was brought to us by open source. Open source in 1990 started with Linus Torvald, decided to create an OS for PC, basically Unix on a PC. Typically OSs are very complex systems, very hard to put together, requires a very well-structured organization. But it was just Linux, and he started sharing his code with a few friends. And next thing you know, there is open source software all over the internet, powering web servers, databases, providing applications, including OpenOffice. You can now function with a PC that will have everything Linux. So, again, a lot of value with no central organization, no strong structured hierarchy, etc. The other thing that open source does is it creates a change in how we think about intellectual property. License for open source is about right to use as opposed to right to own. And what it does is, for property, instead of a white picket fence around a little piece of land that you own and nobody can get in, it means you are the steward of the land, and anybody can use the land as long as respect the rules that you've established. And this is a much more efficient way to use this piece of land. So Creative Commons was started in 2001 to push this kind of concept to the world. And we moved from basically the world of source code to the world of knowledge. And during the same year appeared Wikipedia, which was building on this idea and open wiki to people to contribute their knowledge. And you got now millions of people, millions of pages in many different languages, and a lot of value. And the reference, used to be the British Encyclopedia Britannicus, I'm sorry. And now you have Wikipedia, just as good, no central organization, no very heavy hierarchy, etc., etc. A lot of power. And then this way of doing things also moved to the physical world. In 2005, a small group of geeks in San Francisco decided to work together and share how they were doing things through a forum and a wiki. And it was called co-working. And now we have about 3,000 co-working spaces all around the world. They even have a visa, so that if you are the member of a co-working space somewhere, you could go in another co-working space and spend a day there if you're traveling and use that space. So things are, again, no central organization, but a lot of value provided to the end user. And now it's percolating into the world of entrepreneurship. After I did Entrepreneur Commons, I realized there's a lot of programs like this helping entrepreneurs. There is First Tuesday, there is Founders Institute, there is a whole bunch of things. So we did in November 2010 a conference called Incubate 2.0, which was about gathering these people who were doing these things and figuring out what was happening, and we really discovered that there's a whole new way of doing business, new networks with global footprints, new ways of sharing knowledge, new ways of raising funds, and it's bringing a lot of opportunities to the world of entrepreneurship. The lessons really I got from this conference is that when you have access to knowledge, when you have openness, and when you have collaboration, you can get to something that can be called hyper-productivity, which means you can get another level of productivity without necessarily the extra cost. And if you look around, actually, there are already examples of this in the real world. For example, IKEA. IKEA is selling you furniture, but it lets you do the assembly work and the delivery. What you get is cheaper furniture. What they get is that the furniture is all stacked into small boxes, and you can get a lot more inventory within the same confined space. So huge gain in productivity, and everybody wins. More recently, if you've been traveling to Japan by air, you have probably been able to check online, do your own check-in. So it used to be that you had 1 hour line, of waiting for 15 people behind the counter to take your luggage and give you your boarding pass. Now you can go online, you print it the day before, you don't wait in line that long. There's 2 people behind the counters instead of 15. Everybody wins. You save time, and the airline company saves a lot of money. Again, hyper productivity through access to information and through collaboration between the user and the company itself. At Incubate 2.0, my friend Alan Moore talked about Local Motors, and this is a car company. They build racing cars. And in order to buy a car, you have to participate in the construction of a car. And so now they have 40,000 people who are all involved in the designing and building of these cars all around the world. And they do burger parties that are also welding parties to assemble the cars. And the result is a racing car that is 5 times faster, 5 times cheaper, built 5 times faster, 5 times cheaper. So huge gain in productivity again. And what we're doing now is bringing this hyper-productivity to the world of funding for entrepreneurs. And how it works is Entrepreneur Commons, with its 19 chapters, is taking care of the underwriting of the loans and management of the risk for the loan, while the banks are doing what they know how to do best, which is dealing with the legal requirements of being a bank and dealing with issuing the statements and the bank account and all these things. And in that world, everybody wins. The entrepreneur provide the guarantee and get to choose who among themselves has the most mature business with the most chances of return. They will assign the loan to that person and help that person be successful through the support of the chapters, so that the money can go back for the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And the bank can keep doing what they do. They make money on the guarantee, the CD account, where the guarantee sits, and managing that, and they make money on the management of the account. So it's the best of both worlds again. The concept of mutual guarantee fund is today being implemented in the US. We're currently raising a campaign through Indiegogo to get the first mutual guarantee to be able to do a first loan. But the methods in place are applicable to any country. Indiegogo is present in 140 different countries around the world. Entrepreneur Commons is already in 17 different cities. And we have established relationship through that Incubate 2.0 conference with other programs like the First Tuesday and the Standards Institute and Startup Weekends, etc., so that we can bring support to entrepreneurs wherever they are. So this is something that would work very well for Japan, and I encourage you to consider this as an option as you are going through the recovery effort. I'm hoping we can work together on this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can reach me at mark@entrepreneurcommons.org, or you can go to the website www.entrepreneurcommons.org. I'll be happy to discuss this with you. Thank you.